Okay guys, it is Monday and I'm standing in the door of my office and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like now. There's still some stuff I want to do. I want to get some pillows in here and I want to get some stuff for the wall, but you know, the big stuff is done. So here we go. So here is what it looks like when you walk into my office. Clearly I changed the light fixture and I am obsessed with it. It makes me happy every single time I see it. It's just so pretty and I love it. That might be my favorite thing. You can see that I separated my desks and made them two pieces. I just liked how it opened up the room, and when I walk in, you know, you can't see what's on my monitors or whatever, because I want to keep my office door open when we have, you know, I don't know, I just want it to look pretty. So I like that setup better. I moved the ottoman from the living room into my office. I'm going to put some pillows on top of it, and then I want maybe like a beachy print or something. I'm not sure what I want there yet, but something. I have some mirrors that I'm going to hang somewhere in here that I got as a gift, actually. These, I think they'd be cute on the wall. They were just like $10 at Ross or something, so it was a gift, and I think I'm going to use it. I think I like them. So, yeah. And then these walls, my goodness, I will talk more about these walls in a little while, but I'm very happy with the way they turned out. I don't know if I'd paint stripes again, and I'll go into that later. And then here are my, there we go. Here are my curtains that I made, and look at that little curtain rod. How cute is that? I love it. And those are my curtains that I made. And I really like those. At first I didn't know how I liked the gray with the, you know, turquoise, but I think that I really like it. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I should have ordered turquoise, but I actually think I kind of like the gray. And then there is my bookcase that is now white. So yeah, so that's my office, and I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Yeah, it's really pretty. It's very different, and I just think it's more me now. It's, you know, cleaned up a bit. So I hope you like it. I know I built it up a lot. It was, you know, kind of, I mean, it wasn't like the work wasn't too hard, but it was kind of a lot to do. You know, painting that bookcase was kind of an ordeal, and then painting the stripes like I want them turned out to be a bit of an ordeal, and then I sewed those curtains, and Jimmy had to hang that light fixture, and he was such a big help. I'm so thankful for him. So thank you, Jimmy, for helping me, you know, create my vision. But yeah, I'm super, sorry, the light makes it a little bit weird, but I'm super happy with, you know, how it turned out. So there it is. That is my office renovation. Hey you guys, so it's Monday after work, and I just kind of wanted to do a little, you know, talking through of the process of everything that I did for my office renovation that we worked on for the past 2 weeks. So, you know, I think we got a lot accomplished considering how busy we've been, and we only had, you know, weekends. So I'm pretty proud of us. I'm sunburned from the barbecue festival yesterday in Houston, which I'll put up a vlog about that later this week. I may put up a few more vlogs than usual this week. I just have been filming a lot but haven't had time to edit and put them up. So this week you might get a lot of vlogs. Hope you like that. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm sunburned, and I wasn't even in the sun that much. I don't know. Every year I say, wear sunscreen. Every year. And every year I forget. My I'm going to give a shout out though to my It Cosmetics CC cream, because that stuff has SPF 50, I believe. My face is totally fine, but my chest is not, and it doesn't hurt. I put some castor oil on it last night, so I have no pain, which is good, but this is not good to do to your skin. I think, you know, maybe just like the first time this spring, summer that you get out in the sun for an extended period of time, you just get scorched. So this is me. I'm very fair. This part looks the worst. It's fine. It doesn't hurt. But I should take better care of my skin. So sunscreen next year, remind me, in April. Okay, so basically, I told you guys all about the disaster that started my office renovation, which was when I attempted to take my L-shaped desk apart, and I was removing the like wedge piece. Put that hair tie down. I was removing the wedge piece, yeah, that like hooks this side and makes an L. Maybe I should do it like this. Yeah. Anyway, I was removing that piece, and when I did that, everything crashed down on me, and it was this big ordeal, and that was crazy. That was just that day. I'm surprised I didn't give up right then, but that was the first step, so I didn't give up. And next step was to change the color of that bookshelf, because that is a super, super cheap bookcase. I want to say we bought it at like Big Lots 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I can't remember, but it's just one of those laminate wood type bookshelves, and you know, I could have bought a new one, but what would I do with that one? So I just decided that I wanted to change it and make it white instead of the brown color that it was. So I did some research, and in order to be able to paint on top of it, you need a primer. And so I was talking to the paint guy at, I don't remember if we were at Lowe's or Home Depot at this time, but I was talking to them, and they were like, most paints have primers on them, so you should be fine, da 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 da. And so I went against my gut, against everything I had read online that said to get this primer. And we got home, and it was late. It was when we had our like pizza, painting, Prosecco party. Yay, alliteration. That night. So it was already late when we started to paint, and Jimmy started painting that little table, and his was fine because he had actually painted it before, so it basically already had, you know, paint on it, which worked as a primer for him, so he was fine. Well, I got my paint, and I did a swipe across on the bookcase, and it immediately beat it up. It did not go on smoothly. It did not it was not going to stay on. It was just like little beads of white everywhere. And I was just like, oh, like I knew it, you know, like I knew it. And so I did a little search online for this product right here. This is what you need if you want to paint laminate wood. Use this stuff right here. This particular one. It's in the garage, so I don't have it in front of me, but the brand starts with a Z, and this particular one is the one that you need, because I think, is it oil-based maybe, and so it's able to stick to the laminate, I don't know. But when I went to wipe off just the paint that had beat it up, then it, you know, smeared it across. So I guess technically I could have, you know, just put a bunch of that stuff and then wiped it across, and it could have worked as a primer, but then I wouldn't have had enough paint, and anyway, it was just this big ordeal. But by the time I realized that I needed to go buy that stuff, it was already 9:30, so like Home Depot was closed, Lowe's was closed, and I didn't want to go to Walmart and take a chance on them not having it, so I was like, I'll just go get it in the morning. So I went to get it in the morning, and that stuff made a world of difference. It just did. It went on like you would expect a primer to go on. And so here's what it looks like, you know, after I've used the primer. And then I painted a coat of paint after I let that dry for like an hour or so. Then I painted a coat of paint, but it still needed one more, so I did that. And then you saw it in my office. So that's what it looks like. Now, be careful, because even though that sticks to it really well, it's adhesive, it's not like if you sand it and paint it. So when I was putting one of the shelves in, it knocked the side and it peeled off some of the paint. So I'm gonna have to touch that up. So still be careful. It's a project. I don't know if you want to do this. You know, the paint was, I think the primer was $9, and then we bought a quart of the paint, which I think was like $15, but we also used it for that coffee table. So, you know, it was cost efficient, but I mean, those things aren't that expensive. So, you know, it's your call. I don't know. I would probably still do this again, because I had that and I just like to reuse things. That's just me. So anyway, I would still call it a success. Yeah, definitely. Thumbs up. Okay, so then with my light fixture, I actually bought two. These are what my nails look like right now. They're shiny and pink and fun. Can you see that? Okay, anyway, I bought two. I bought the one that I kept, and then I bought another chandelier. And poor Jimmy, because I'm indecisive, and so I bought both of them, and he hung up the one that I kept for a couple of days, and I knew I already liked it. Like, you know, you just know sometimes, but I couldn't tell when they were next to each other in the Home Depot if I liked them. So I brought them, got them both, brought them home, and he hung the one that I really liked. And then he put up the other one a few days later, so I could live with both of them for a couple of days. Well, when he put up, well, even before he put up the second one, you took it out of the box. And I think there was like a $50 difference in the two. And I'll see if I have a picture of the other one that I didn't choose. And if I did, I'll put it in here, and I'll link both of them below. But I think there was a $50 difference in the two fixtures, or chandeliers, or whatever you want to call them. And just I mean, they're both plastic beads, yeah? Yeah, I did not, you know, spend a bazillion dollars on this chandelier for my office, but there is a huge difference in the quality of the two beads. One is super thin plastic, like super thin. This one, I think, looks nicer. It's heavier. It just feels and looks so much better. So, yeah, I love it. I love it. It really, really, really makes me happy. I'm going to stop saying really. I enjoy it very much. Every time I see it, I smile. It makes me happy. So, yes. Moving on to the wall that we painted. I knew I wanted stripes. I knew I wanted a turquoise color. That is the color is Behr, and it's the marquee paint. This color is only in the marquee paint, which is their most expensive of the Behr paints. But I think it's called Caicos Turquoise, which is super fun because we went to Turks and Caicos when our friends Sean and Kaylee got married, and it definitely is like Caicos Turquoise. It is beautiful down there. So I think that's a fun little memory. So yeah, the color, I love the color. So I knew that I wanted to do these stripes. We have texture on our walls. I don't know if you can see this, but we have texture on our walls. And so we've painted, I think, twice in our house. And both times, I mean, we used the tape. And the first time we just used blue painter's tape, and it bled through a little bit into the crevices, you know, because of texture. So the second time we got the more expensive frog tape, and it still bled through, though not as bad. This time we used the frog tape and we taped it off, and I even went in and like pushed it down into the crevices. I think I used like a Tylenol bottle or something and just kind of rolled it down, because I think they make rollers where you can roll it on the tape to kind of make it stick a whole lot better, but I didn't have that and I was going to spend money on that. So I used, you know, the little bottle and just rolled it around all the stripes and whatever. So we painted, and so here's, you know, us taping. You know, Jimmy did, I think, all of the taping. I didn't want to get in his way, and I'll go over some tips for that in just a second. But so he taped, and then we painted, and we painted together, and then we let it dry, and we pulled off the tape. And because I left some stripes white, and then the other stripes were this like vibrant turquoise color, it was easy, like you could not see how it had bled into the white because of the texture on the walls. And I was really, I was extremely frustrated because we had spent so long, you know, taping it and getting it right and pushing it in, and for it to just bleed everywhere was so frustrating to me. And Jimmy is very much, you know, a volume producer, and I am a details producer, so I'm a lot slower at doing things. He can get so much more done so much faster than I can, but I pay more attention to detail. I'm more of a perfectionist with the little things. So Jimmy painted a whole lot, but then when we pulled the tape off the wall, he was just ready to paint the wall all turquoise instead of trying to fix it. And I was like, no, you know, this is the look that I want, so I'm just gonna go through and paint white all along the little stripes and try to cover it up as best I can. And so I spent a good 2-3 hours going back and painting white, you know, being as careful as I can to go along and paint along the line so that I could hide the turquoise and, you know, not go into the turquoise, which is hard to do because of the texture and paint runs. And anyway, it took me a very long time, but I was patient because it was something that I wanted. And, you know, ended up turning out really well. I'm really happy with the results. I don't regret what I did. I don't regret my choices. I would not do it again on textured walls, though. I just wouldn't. If you have textured walls and you want to do stripes, I would highly recommend hiring someone to do it, or just be prepared for it to take a really long time, because it was really frustrating, but it was worth it to me. So I did that, and I'm glad that I did that. Now, how you get the stripes and get them, you know, as perfect as possible, you have to decide how many stripes you want. I knew that I wanted 7. It just seemed like, you know, those ceilings are only 8 feet, so I wanted them about a foot. If you want the stripes wider, you know, divide by 5 instead of 7. If you want smaller stripes, divide by 9 or 11 or however many stripes you want to do. But oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine trying to fix more than what I did. So keep that in mind. But basically, you take the height of your ceiling to your floor. If you have, you know, crown molding and baseboards, then you measure from the bottom of the crown molding to the top of the baseboards, because that's the wall you're working with. So then you get that measurement and you divide it by 7. And so from the top, then your first line would be there, and then you go down like that. Now, when you put your tape, of course, your first line, you are putting it on the inside of that. Is that what we did, Jimmy? Or outside? You put it on the outside because you want the whole 13, or, you know, in my case, it was like 13.35 inches. You want the whole 13.35 inches. So the tape is on at the outside of that line. And then when you go down to do your next line, you put the tape on the inside because you're not painting that white part, you know. So you want to make sure that the sections you're painting are exactly the measurement that they need to be. So the tape should be inside both sides of the white. Also, be sure that you mark the sections that you're not painting, just so you don't get confused. We also used a laser level, and I would highly recommend using a laser level. You can put it on the wall and the light goes all the way across, so then you can tape and it's not as obnoxious. So it's not a hard project. If you don't have textured walls, I would say paint some stripes because they're fun and it's not a hard project. You know, it's just a little math and a little patience. If you have textured walls, you can still do it, but you know, think about it if you want to do that. And then lastly, Jimmy hung my curtain rod, which I think is super cute. And then I sewed my curtains, and I got that fabric off of fabric.com, and I think it was like $9 a yard, and I bought 2.5 yards because you know that it's only 8 feet and I didn't need all that much, so I got 2.5 yards, and I cut it in half and made the 2 panels, and I basically just serged the sides and then folded them in and, you know, sewed them, and then the top part you just fold over, and then I put the grommets in, and it was super easy. So the total cost of my project I'm going to add up and put right here. Clearly it wasn't that expensive of a little renovation. The most expensive part was my light, but it's also, well, the stripes make me happy when I walk in too. So basically all of it makes me happy. And at first, you know, I wasn't sure about how I felt about the curtains, but now I really like them in my office. So that is my office renovation. If you have any questions or comments, let me know if you like it. Maybe you don't see, like, you know, maybe you're like, really? Like, that wasn't a big deal. But it was a big deal to me. It was a big deal to us because we don't do a lot of home projects. So it was kind of a thing. And yeah, I'm happy with it. So let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up. Be sure and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. See you guys later.